Hey Jake, talking about the Harper High School podcast. Just wow, it's a lot to take and unpack. Like we're all saying, um, just the fact that students feel as they have to be in a gang just in order to get to school or walk in the middle of the street, not on the sidewalk, and the fact that you're either in a gang or you're isolated in this community is just a very just depressing thought. Um, Number two, most impactful. I mean, all of them were hard to listen to, but I think Damien, just because he's carrying the weight of both his brothers' death and the fact that his family blames him for that death, was one that stood out to me the most, just because I'm sure it's hard enough dealing with a loss of a brother. And on top of that, the family is blaming you for that. That's a very, very tough situation. Um, how can we keep parents better informed, like Terrence Green? I think it's important to talk to our parents about concerns about a kid's change in behavior, or that grades have dropped, or they're probably hanging out and maybe doing something that they shouldn't be, or even when they're doing great, had improvement in grades and behavior. Um, just to figure out what, but when stuff's dropped or changing behavior, just figure out what's going on. Maybe the parents uh, don't know that their grades are dropped or behaviors changed at school. A lot of teachers just use parents as behavior threat. I saw that at my school. But trying to get to know the family could be so much more helpful with all the things I just talked about, and issues of gun violence, how the school dealt with it, admins, and how viewing your classes. I think Greenville does a pretty good job. They could do better with. There are some threats that go unnoticed, but they do a pretty good overall job protecting students. There are entryways that only lead to the office, blocking you from the students, which is something that they didn't have in the Florida or Texas schools that I interviewed at. Um, Most of them, at least, which was surprising. Just, I mean, you walked into school and kids were walking right by you. I mean, groups, I mean, ton of kids just right by you, and the office was, the office was a good walk from the front door, so that didn't make much sense to me. But the school I was at did a lockdown drill a couple times this past year. I don't think it would hurt to do it a couple more, maybe as much as a fire drill nowadays. I didn't see admins talking to students about it. They more told teachers what to say, and uh, and they didn't really go outside of what the admins told them to say. And how have you in your classes? I'm not sure yet because I haven't taught to my students as a own teacher. I've only been a student teacher. My CT wasn't big about talking about social issues. Um, School's made up more than teachers. Crystal, and what was your reaction to Crystal doing on the impact? I couldn't imagine working in a school like that. I mean, I couldn't. It's got to be very tough. Where, I mean, even your counselors are going to counseling themselves because it's that hard of a situation. And Crystal tries very hard with these students, and only for some of them to be shot or be shot at. Um, Throughout this podcast, what makes a teacher want to stay in school? Why do you think part? Maybe maybe they weren't a part of the story because they didn't want to be part of the possible social issues that came with this podcast. But I'm sure they're all there trying to help the students through the world that they've grown up with, and that's something that's got to be difficult to do. Try to help them through that.